M2 student from the Department of Urban Management in Tokyo University. I recently finished my job hunting experience, and I'd like to tell you. I kept it as general as possible, and I'd like to tell you how to do job hunting in Japan in my experience. So I applied for 6 jobs, failed 3, abandoned 1, and got 2 offers. And eventually I settled on Oriental Consultants Global, which is a global company in the field of construction consulting. So first, the job hunting timeline. So for those who will be graduating in 2020, they might think that job hunting starts until April 2019, but that's not true. Actually, it starts with summer internships and winter internships. Summer internship application period is from May to July. I think now it's not too late if any of you is interested in applying. And the summer internships are usually conducted in August and September. If you missed on summer internship, you can still get winter internships from November to January. And job hunting starts, I would recommend you start in February, even though officially it starts in April. So there are many steps in job hunting, which I will go through individually. Company briefing sessions from February to April, applying through entry sheet and taking web tests from March to May, and then taking interviews from April to June. Yeah, so the line means the blue one over there. For some companies, job hunting experience continues until August, but most of them start in June. So better start as early as possible. First, starting with summer and winter internships. First, what's the purpose of summer and winter internships? So in most of our countries, the purpose of summer internship is, it's usually from 1 to 3 months, and the purpose is to get job experience, add something extra to your CV, and in Japan it's a different case because they're only from 1 day to 2 weeks, and you can rarely find a 1-month internship. And the purpose is for you to learn about the company, familiarize yourself with the industry, and it gives you a higher chance to get hired. And why do companies put so much effort into it? Because it's a chance for them to appeal themselves among graduates and get as many excellent applicants as possible. And I'd just like to note that summer internships are more important because some companies don't offer winter internships. If they do, it's just 1 day. So, how to apply for a summer internship? First, find companies of interest. Ask your lab mates, your professor, don't hesitate. Your lab mates must be looking for summer internships themselves. And you can also, if you don't want to ask, or if nobody around you knows, you can apply, find companies through job hunting websites, which I'll introduce later. And the application, you can apply directly through the company's website. You can apply through job hunting sites. And my advice is to try your best to apply in Japanese, because for the application you have to fill in something called an entry sheet with your details and some questions about your motivation, your research. And when the HR sees it in English, they sort of look out. They just don't want to read it. So better apply in Japanese. And then if there is an interview phase, you may ask for it to be in English. And you can even conduct your internship in English. This is why summer internship, you can get it regardless of your Japanese level. You can take the easy way, apply through your university. Kyodai sends many internship emails, and I'm not sure about other universities, but they must have some internship service. Or the easy way is to apply through your professor. I mean, some professors in Japan can really do magic, so just ask. For job hunting websites, there are many job hunting websites, but the two biggest platforms are Mynavi and Economy. Just be careful about one point. This, for you, what concerns you is the 2020, if you're a 2020 graduate. This is finished. This is the one I used, 2019, for my job hunting. And this website will follow you through your whole job hunting experience. Now it's for internships, and then in winter it's going to be for winter internships. And then when job hunting starts, it's going to be for job hunting. So just keep using this 2020 website. I'd like to show you how you can. It's in Japanese, but you can always use the Google Chrome translator. You can look for company name through here, and there is internship here. There's so many ways to look for an internship. It's so practical. Through region, Kanto, Kansai, through kind of industry you're looking for, through so many things. There is through the deadline. This is the period of the internship. Is it in June, July, etc.? How many days? 1 day, 2 days, 2 weeks, etc. And the deadlines. So if I think some companies still have deadlines going on. So anyway, I'm sure you can make it if you want. This is my Navi website. So moving on. Okay. Next is 1 day winter internship. If you missed fall summer internship, you can still catch up. The advantages of winter internships is that application is not strict. Anyone can register, usually for 1 day internships. You learn about the company in the shortest time possible, in just 1 day. You can ask the employees many questions, including overtime work, and they're usually very honest. I got replies of, I'm working until 11 p.m. So, yeah, it's a good chance. And the flow of the day goes like this: introduction of the company, group work, it will pass, employee roundtable where you can ask all the questions you want. So, however, for this, I think you need a minimum level of Japanese communication because they won't have it in English just for you because it's just 1 day. So moving on. Okay, you did both of these steps, or maybe you didn't do any of them, it's okay. You can start job hunting. The easy way, which GLPT entry may do, first of all with university recommendation. In the case of Kyoto University, there are job offers through university recommendation, which means the company tells Kyodai, okay, give us 3 students, 2 students, and we have this number of job offers. There is a list of that at the professor in charge of job hunting, and you can apply for the company of your choice through this school recommendation. The advantage is that if there is no competition among students and you get a spot, it means less job hunting procedures, which means you may jump right through the interview phase, and almost guaranteed application, 90%. And again, with the help of your professor, so just ask. I know many people who got job offers with the help of their professor, and even my professor, I faced a huddle during my job hunting process, and he said, if you cannot make it, I'll help you, just tell me. And now the hard way, which is the Japanese way, where you will need a GLPT N2. They won't be asking you for GLPT N2, like give us your GLPT N2. But maybe they just want to know that you can go through the whole process in Japanese, including entry sheets and interviews. The first step, easy. It starts February, March, April, not in April. So look for the company on MyNavi, which is the website I showed you, and press entry. Or go directly to the company's website. So now you submitted your entry. What's next is that you will follow procedures to create My Page in the company website. And this My Page will follow you through your whole job hunting process. The first thing you can do in My Page is step 2 and step 3 and the next of the steps. Just for the number of companies, I recommend applying for 7 to 10 companies just to guarantee getting one. What you can first do with My Page is reserve a company briefing session. This is amazing. This is like the winter internship minus the group work. It's usually only 2 hours. They can have it in many branches, Osaka, Nagoya, Tokyo. There's usually a company introduction, information about the application process and deadlines, and again, an employee roundtable where you can ask the employees anything you want. So if you went to this, go to as many as possible, it's just 2 hours. If you went to this and you're, okay, I want to apply for this company, then you can move to the next step, which is applying submission of entry sheet, which you can do through My Page, or you can go to the company website, because some companies don't have My Page. You can download it, submit it through post office. So this is pretty hard process because you have to write long text in Japanese, and please don't hesitate to ask people around you for help. But because even if without the Japanese, each of these questions has a trick. So the example of the most common entry sheets, the first one is "Jikopiya shite kudasai," which means tell us about yourself. This is where you show your appeal and strong point. Not many points, they want to hear one point, and just give an example of how you showed this strength in you and how it helped in some sort of situation. The second is to talk about your research. This can be the easiest one because all you have to do is to translate your research. The third one, 当社に志望する理由を記述してください, which is tell us about your motive for applying to our company. And the last common one is 学生時代力を入れて取り込んだことを記述してください, which means what have you worked for hard in your student life. So you cannot say I worked hard, studied hard, passed my exams. No, but you have to relate one experience, the process of it, the result, and what you learned. This experience can be about your research, your part-time job, your club activity, volunteering, studying abroad, or anything else of your choice. So after you have submitted the entry sheet, what comes next? Some companies have many deadlines, which means they have many. Okay, so you submit your entry sheet in March, you have the interview in April, and so on. But if you can also, there's a second deadline. They set a second deadline where you can submit your entry sheet in April, but then you have the interview in May. So it's just a bit late. Some companies have up to 3 of these deadlines. My advice is to get the earliest possible to allow you to guarantee some choices and then choose whatever you want. So after the entry sheet submission is the SPI test. SPI test, it's pretty fancy word, synthetic personality inventory. I don't know how Japanese people came up with it. So the place is usually at the company's headquarters or test center or online from home, depending on the country. Sorry for the question mark. And it can be done after submitting your entry sheet. They will tell you succeeded, please come and take the SPI test, or at the same time. However, the preparation for the test should start in January, April, and you can get books from your lab, Amazon, libraries, Book Off. This is just an example that I got from Amazon, but there are so many books for preparation. And the test contains 2 parts. The first is Higengo, which is calculation logic. I'm sure many of us haven't used their brains in a long time, so this will do you really good. Like you can do 9 times 6 or 7 times 8 without a calculator, and it feels really good. So this is important to practice, and I think this is the only thing you can practice because usually calculations should be done within a time limit. You have maybe 1 minute or 1.5 minutes to answer each question, and you cannot do that without practice. And the second one is Gengo, Japanese language. If you don't have N1 level, don't try practicing this. I answered everything randomly and got away with it because it's pretty difficult. So the only thing you need to focus on is this one, just so you don't look stupid. It's mainly calculations. And they're usually understanding about the Japanese. And sometimes there is also English test. Sometimes there is personality test. But these are the main ones. And start preparing early. Yes. So next, essay test. Not all companies have this. Some have it the same day as the SPI test. Some have it the same day as the first interview. Some don't have it. It's usually from 1 to 2 A4 pages, either about the problem in the field of the company or about yourself. So for example, in my case, for construction consulting companies, they ask you to talk about some problem in Japanese infrastructure, such as population decline, aging structures, natural disasters, and propose some solutions. So it's better to ask your senpais what kind of subject is likely to come up. Usually it's always the same subject for all companies in a certain field. And study in advance what Japan is going through in the field of your choice. But sometimes this test is just about personality-related things, like tell us what kind of thing you worked hard for in your life, what's the process, and what are the results. Language of the test, please ask. Sometimes English is okay, and because I failed 2 of the companies because of this test, according to my experience, it's better to do it fully in English than leave a blank page or do just a few sentences in Japanese, because you will fail. It happens. Yes. So after getting done with all of this comes the interview phase. Yeah, it's in April, May, June. So the first interview, usually individual, with 3 to 4 panels. Look up questions that are asked, prepare answers in advance. I can prepare a list of questions if any of you are interested. They mainly want to know your personality. They don't want to judge you. They don't want to test you. They don't want to scare you. So you can be relaxed. However, you still need to know the basics of your research in Japanese. Sometimes after this interview, you'll get a call to come for another interview. It can be a group interview with many students. I haven't experienced this. In my case, it was always 2 interviews. Anyway, so you go through these first interview phases, and then comes the last interview, which is called Yakui Mensetsu, which is with the bosses. And once you get there, your chances of recruitment are pretty high. And again, they just want to know about your personality and your motivation to work for them, your engagement and your future plans. So just a couple of white lies in interviews. Is this company your first choice? Yes, it is. Are you planning to go back to your home country? No, I'm not. It's okay, everyone does that, so you don't have to feel guilty about it. And yeah. So maybe this is about it, and if you have any more questions, please ask me later. Thank you.